Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. Today I'm going to be updating our November budget. The last time I was in here was on Friday, October 28th, when I last updated our budget to put my husband's paycheck in there and whatever leftover amount we had in our checking account. And so today I want to go ahead and update. I normally would have updated this on Monday, October 31st. It is currently Thursday, November 3rd. So it's almost been a week now since I last updated this. I haven't even put in our expenses. I haven't tracked any of our expenses or anything at all. And we did do some spending over the weekend. So I want to make sure I update this so that I have the most updated balances on here so that I make sure we're not overspending and making sure that all of our cards are being paid for, because I do have to check in on my husband's Discover card. We got to pay for two things on there. He did purchase something and put it on his Discover card. I don't know if we're going to pay for the entire statement balance because I don't believe that it's due yet. I might just pay for it just so my own peace of mind. And then I do have to pay for something that I put in that I charged on my Capital One last month. Yeah, I just want to make sure I do that. And then I'm going to track our spending, of course. And then thankfully I put in notes in here when I updated this or when I finalized the budget, because I think I just did add something to make sure I didn't forget. I think I put something in here about my husband. Oh no, I didn't. But my husband did tell me he bought a game and I'm going to use his savings account or savings fund for that. So I need to make sure I do all that today. So completely updating this before I forget. I'm going to go ahead and start with the expense tracker first. So here, this one is paycheck number 1. I did not even put our starting balance on here. I believe we still have $5 in cash. I'm not 100% sure. So this one is on the 28th, paycheck, earned income, and my husband's paycheck. Just going to go ahead and do that. We also did receive a few days ago or earlier this week, my ninang zelled us $100 for the boys. She likes to give us $100 for the boys every single month as part of their allowance. And in the past or earlier this year, I was transferring that over to their 529. So for right now, since we are going to be saving for my son's birthday month in January, which is coming up pretty soon, we are going to transfer that over to the boys' savings fund. I don't know if it's going to be under fun and events or under the kids' budget. I'm going to see. So, yeah, so she did give us $100 that will be going to the savings fund for sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and just start tracking. So I'm going to split my screen up because it's just so much easier to be able to see it this way and type. But on your end, I think I'm just going to blur out my Wells Fargo screen because it's pretty time consuming to blur out every single line as I'm editing. But you guys know what I'm doing. I'm just copying what my expenses onto my spreadsheet. So just going to go ahead and blur out that screen as I track everything. And what I like to do, oh, they took out our rent check. Awesome. I'm going to look in our October budget to make sure, because sometimes there's been a couple of months in our expense tracker where I accidentally put in an expense that was from the previous budget, because I would be off and I would double check it. And yeah, it was from the previous budget. So I want to make sure that I leave off, or I start where I left off. Because I usually, when I'm looking at my Wells Fargo, I usually tend to start after we get paid. But sometimes some of the purchases from the previous budget what am I trying to say? It's not really in order. So I have to double check and make sure I'm starting off where I should be. So, okay, perfect. So going back to our November expense tracker, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the date on here. I like to lately I've been just putting the due or purchase date. I haven't been putting the date cleared. Yeah, that's just how I've been doing it lately. And so far it's been fine. If I find that anything's been taking a long time to clear, I'll just make a note of it. But yeah, So on the 28th, this one was Amazon. I think this one was multiple purchases. I'm gonna double check. So usually as I'm tracking our expenses, I have multiple windows open or tabs so that I can check in on other things. You know what? I'm gonna check on Amazon on this tab while it's blurred out so I can check in on my orders. And usually a lot of times on Amazon when I'm buying things, it's for multiple categories. So I like to just check to see what I got. Looks like for 3 different things. So my Amazon total was $100.07, and part of that was kids and household stuff. We did get my son new bedding sheets. He's had the same ones. I actually had the same ones since my older one was little for his toddler bed. So finally decided to get him his own. So what I'm going to do is split this up, the $100, and just what I do is just take the amount of that we spent on that one item for my son, put in all the taxes and stuff, and then just basically doing the manual calculations here so that it gets put into the correct category. So, which I don't mind doing at all. And this one's going to be $59.57. And then going on to the next one. So what happens when I don't usually track every single day anymore. I find that tracking once a week is usually fine, or Mondays and Fridays, because we tend to not really spend over the week. It's really over the weekend. And yeah, so this one is for our Disney Plus. You know what I forgot to do? I learned how to I learned how to automatically have my color codes when I highlight this, but I have to in every budget or expense tracker, I have to put the formulas or the conditional formatting myself. I just forgot to do it in this one. I have to remember to do it in the next one. So this one was $13.99, and then October 29th, another Amazon purchase, which I'm going to go back to Amazon and figure out which one that was. I think this one was just one item. I ended up buying some molds, spam musubi mold and an onigiri mold, so I can make us homemade onigiri. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Maybe I'll put a picture on here of what that is. It's been pretty amazing. Probably the best investment in my kitchen so far. But that's under household. That's $7.69. I'm gonna put musubi and onigiri molds. Sometimes I put descriptions on here, sometimes I don't. But yeah. And then on October 30th, we were in Manhattan Beach for my son's Skechers walk for the school. And this one is going to be parking, so it's going to be under transportation. And that's $6. And then we went to Ralph's grocery. That one was all food. And $64.17. One of the questions I get a lot, is that how I track multiple categories. Let's say if you're at Target and you're buying so many different categories, some stuff for your kids, some stuff for yourself. There's household stuff there, cleaning stuff, and then food. I really would just go in and manually calculate everything. Save your receipt or look online and just manually do it myself. That's what I do. I know there's some people that will do separate transactions, which is totally fine. You can totally do separate transactions. But for me, I prefer to just do it all in one and manually do it myself, because I just want to be in and out of the store. So I'm not going to do multiple transactions, especially if there's a long line. Even if I'm at self-checkout, I just like to be in and out. And then I'm going to put the Zelle payment here from my Nina. I'm going to put gift and then $100. So that goes up there. And then we did get in and out. after our Skechers walk. It was it's a fundraiser for my son's school, where 100% of the money goes directly back to their school, which is awesome. And I believe they always have a goal every single year. And I remember one year they were raising money to buy Chromebooks for all students. It's just pretty amazing that everything that gets put in or donated gets put back into our schools. So I don't mind donating and participating in that. So this is food. Oops. In and out. Anytime I have to go between tabs, it just puts me back, or it like resets the page, so I have to scroll back to where I was at when I'm here in my Wells Fargo. And I think that day my husband and I didn't want In and Out. My boys wanted In and Out. We wanted Jersey Mike's. So that's why we had two separate food transactions there. And oh my goodness, their sandwich was $22 for one big sandwich. It's crazy. It was totally worth it, but so expensive now. But you know, I'm sure you guys all know that everything is like increasing. And then anyways, so Sam's Club, I believe there's only one thing in there that was household. So I'm going to put Sam's Club total. Sam's Club is usually the one too where we have multiple transactions or multiple categories in this one. I know for sure one of them was households, and then the rest was food. And what I like to do with Sam's Club, is I will go into my email and check to see which one was the household, because I get my receipts emailed to us. So I'm going to put that here. I'm just going to go look for that email really quickly. Sam's Club. All right. So I think it was just one thing. This was actually a lot for our Sam's Club grocery, because we did buy some stuff for our little Halloween get together for Monday. So yeah. And plus we also ran out of staples, so we replenished on some things. Okay, so household is $22.97, and then food, I'm just going to subtract it. So $22.97. And so for food we spent $152.03. And moving on to the next item, and then gas. Oops. If you've made it so far in this video, I'm not sure where everyone is at or where everyone tunes in from, but let me know how much is gas where you guys are. It's been slowing down, or the price has been slowly decreasing lately. So for a full tank, right now it's $52.61. I remember the highest was like $75 at one point when we were like right on, like pretty much close to empty. Let me know how much gas is for you guys wherever you are, and let me know where you're from too, or what state you're from, so we know. I'm in California, so I think the highest I've seen was like $7. That's like on the expensive side, but right now it's like at the low $5 per gallon. And then we got pizza, which was a hot mess, my husband said, because on top of the 30-minute wait, he had to wait an additional 45 minutes when he got there, which, you know, I told him I'm not surprised because it was Halloween day and everyone's probably ordering pizza for their families and stuff, so they didn't have to cook. So, and then another Amazon transaction. Let me just see what that one is. I think that was just one item. Just from the look of the price, $18.82. Oh, I think that was command hooks. I don't know why I remember, but I remember it being that much. So I got another set of command hooks because we do need some. That's what I like to use sometimes in place of like wall hooks. Since we are in an apartment, I try to be very mindful of the amount of holes that we put in our walls. So yeah, and in case we move things around and change our minds on things, I don't want to have to patch up the holes more than we already have. So, and then 11/2, our rent check cleared. I'm glad when they do these on time because it lets me put it in my budget or expense tracker already. I do wish sometimes like they would have like a Zelle or way to transfer money to them. My landlords are a little bit old school, which is totally fine, but I just would rather have it, you know, automatically already and be deducted. And then a Venmo to coworker. This is my husband's friend, so that's for his lunch. That's $15, and I believe that is it. So what I do now is check to make sure that my checking account here matches what's in, not checking account, my running balance here in my expense tracker, it matches what's in my checking account, which thankfully it does. So I don't have to go back and try to figure out what went wrong. So I'm going to insert a little checkbox right here. I'm probably going to color code this later on and add the conditional formatting so it does it automatically for me. And what I'm going to do now, since I don't have to check anything in my checking account, I'm just going to sign out of this, make this one big screen again, or actually I might close this out, and I'm going to put my Capital One over here because I'm going to be paying for a credit card bill. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look into our November budget and see how much we've gone over, because I already see a negative over here. So let's see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and pay for, I believe, so Fun and Events was on Discover, and then our hotel was on Discover as well. So let me actually log on to my husband's Discover, and I'm going to go ahead and pay for that, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in our expense tracker as well. Sorry if I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm trying to talk and update my budget at the same time and trying not to forget, you know, what I need to be doing, because I don't want to miss a payment. I don't want interest to hit or anything at all. So yeah, so I'm going to make sure we pay for this. So current balance right now is $257 in my husband's Discover. I believe only partial is due. Okay, so I still have to pay $157, which was part of a birthday celebration. So $257 minus $157. Okay, so that works out. So this isn't due until November 22nd, but I'm going to go ahead and pay for all of it. So I'm going to be paying for two categories with this payment. One is going to be for my husband, and the other is for Fun and Events, because we did pay for a birthday celebration. So I'm going to pay for the current balance, and I'm going to submit that right now. And then I'm going to mark it in here to make sure to remind myself that I paid for it already. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. So in my expense tracker, I'm going to put payment on Discover. Total was $257.05, and part of that is going to be for my husband, and then the other is going to be Fun and Events. And the Fun and Events one was $157, and then I think my husband's was like $100. So $105. I think this one was $157.05, because I know my husband's was only $99. So I mean, it's 5 cents, not like it really, really matters, but yeah, so this one is going to be 100, right? Did I do that right? Yep. Okay, so that's it for the Discover payment. So that should bring us to a zero balance the next few days. So I'm going to log out of that, and then I'm going to go ahead and pay for my Capital. And so going back into my November budget really quickly, it's going to update here. So it shows up on here in my variable spending. I don't put it in our fixed expenses because the amount kind of varies. Even though like it has a set date, the amount of it is going to vary. I like to just keep regular things in our fixed and regular expenses category. So that's why I just like to make a note of it here to make sure I don't miss a payment. And so yeah, so it updated on here. So $36.43 still left over, and then my husband's is says he has $10 left, but I got to transfer over money $100 from his savings. So what I'm going to do is up his budget by 100 because I'm going to take 100 from his savings. So I'm going to put this at 225, and I'm going to put from James's savings. So I'm going to put 100 on there as the budget amount, and when I transfer it over, I'll put it in the actual. And then now I'm going to go into Capital One and pay for mine. And at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and do the transfers as well, since my savings account and since I have my savings as well in Capital One with my credit card. So I'm going to go ahead and do the transfers and pay for the credit card bill at the same time. So I'm going to pay, how much do I owe here? According to my budget, I owe $62. So I'm going to go over to Capital One. It says I have a balance of $86 on there, but my last statement balance was the $61.31. What did I put in here? $24.79 on Amazon. Let's see. What did I buy? 24. Oh, it was Christmas gifts. Okay, so debating if you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and create our Christmas as well. So I'm gonna put from Christmas savings because we did buy, I believe I put that on my Chase card. Christmas gifts on Chase and Capital. So far, I need to check on my Chase account. So I'm going to go ahead and put Christmas savings in here. And I'm not sure how much yet. I did buy some things at Old Navy for my San Jose family. I'm going to go ahead and pay for all of the Capital One balance already. So the $86.10. And then I'm going to break it down into my expense tracker. And then from my expense tracker, I'm going to see how much I need to transfer over from our savings in order to cover those the gifts. So I'm going to go ahead and put 11.3 and payments on Capital. So this one's mine, and the total is $86.10. So part of that was mine, and then I'm gonna put Amazon here, gifts or Christmas gift. So I'm gonna put Christmas here, and I'm gonna go back to my Amazon so I can see how much that was. So that was $24.79 total there, and then I'm just gonna manually calculate this. $24.79, and so that one was $61.31 for myself, and then that's it for the Capital One. And I'm gonna go ahead and just go back home with my my Capital One, and then what else did I say? I'm going to log into Chase, and that bill is actually not going to be due until the 7th, so I don't know if I'm going to pay for it now, but I want to make sure that the transaction is there, because it's not going to be due until December 7th, so I'm debating if I'm going to pay for it now or just wait and see what else Christmas gifts I can put in Chase so that I can pay for it all at once next time. Okay, so I have $253.97. I have to pay for pay range, which I thought wasn't due yet. So I guess I have to pay for that. I'm going to have to add that on here and then see. So I have $81.40, but I'm going to have to just eat it out of our checking account cushion, the $300, because I do want to put the $100, or actually, yeah, because I want to put the $100 into savings. So I I do have $153 for Christmas shopping. So that was for my San Jose family. Since we're gonna go see them, we bought their gifts already, so we can give it to them this month. Okay, so I'm just gonna pay for the statement balance plus what we paid for Christmas on here, so that I don't get charged any interest, and just so I can already pay for the Christmas stuff already, so I can, like, since I'm going to transfer over money from our Christmas savings, I'm just going to go ahead and do that with this one. So what I'm going to do, if I can do the math right, I believe it's $203.97 is what I'm going to be paying for. And there'll still be $50 sitting in here, but that's going to be for the next due date. What I want to do now is make sure that at least the statement balance, which is $50, gets paid for, so that I don't get charged interest on it. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing the $203.97. I'm going to go ahead and pay for that, and I'm going to add it to my expense tracker here. Chase payment to, not 53, 203.97, and part of that is $50 for utilities, and then, which is my laundry app, and the other one's going to be Christmas, which is $153.97. That way I can go ahead and just transfer that money over and pay for, or to cover our Christmas budget or Christmas spending. And so far that's the only thing that we spent on Christmas so far. So $178.76 will be coming from our Christmas savings for sure. So Chase is all taken care of, and I already paid for this one right here. So 50. I'm gonna do $13.95 here, and then Mercury was $118. Oops. Make sure I add that. Disney Plus was $13.99. This one I need to pay for still our electricity, $35, which I was surprised. I believe we got a California climate credit. Usually our bill is closer to $100, so it's kind of nice surprise to see it only at $35. This one is not due until the next budget period, but since I think the due date lands on like a Saturday or something, I'm just gonna go ahead and pay for it in this budget period. So I might do that today as well. Might as well do all the things I need to do now before I forget. So I need to transfer money over from our Christmas. I don't believe we're going to be spending any more for Christmas because we're all done with my San Jose family gift shopping, and I don't really plan to buy any more. And if we do, we're going to put it on a credit card, of course. So for now, $178.76. I'm going to transfer over to $178.76. I know I said I wouldn't add it on here until I make the transfer, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go on to my Capital One, which signed me out already because I was taking too long. I don't know how long this video is, but I do want to leave a majority of it in here so you can kind of see what I go through when I'm updating. And I think this is a good example of one of the times when I'm spending a lot more time in my budget because of all the things that we are paying for, to make sure that everything gets paid for on time, that everything's accounted for, especially since we're back to using our credit cards responsibly this time. I'm going to transfer over money. I'm debating on if I'm going to send it through Zelle or if I'm going to just transfer it over and just let it take 3 to 5 days, because we're after all of these payments here, we'll have $924 left over. I don't think any other bigger bills rent has already been taken out. Yeah, so instead of the Zelle transfer, I'm gonna just transfer it via just from Capital One Savings directly into my Wells Fargo checking account, and it should be there at least by Monday. It's Thursday and it's 3 business days, so it'll probably be there by Monday. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer the money over from Christmas to my Wells Fargo checking, and I'm gonna do the $178.76. Transfer that over, and it says deliver in, and it says usually 3 business days. And then I'm going to transfer over money from my husband's savings. He has $509 in there. I'm not sure what he's saving for, but he just says he wants to save. I actually convinced him to buy this game because him and his brothers play, I believe it's Call of Duty, and a new version, I guess, came out, and he was not wanting to buy it. He's like, it's $100. Let's just buy it. You're gonna play with your brothers, and brings him joy. So he ended up buying it. So I'm gonna transfer over that money to to our checking account, and then I believe that's all the updates. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. So once all of these payments go through, I'm pretty sure this hasn't come out of our Wells Fargo checking account just yet, but when it does go through, it'll all be accounted for already, and I'll just have to go back and check to make sure that these were the correct ones. And then if everything was correct, of course, we'll have $924 left over. And I still need to, for kids, I think I'm going to just transfer the $100. So I just need to transfer over the $100 from our checking account to Capital One, which I'm going to have to do a Zelle transfer for. Trying to see what else I need to do. Pay for electricity. I might do that the next update, actually. Let me just see. You know what? Let me exit out of everything so I can have a full screen and really take a look at this. I think I've exited out of everything here. So let me make this a little wider again. Since I transferred over money from Christmas and my husband's, I still have the $160 on here to budget for, but $100 will be going towards, oh, I should actually put this on here. That's why it's so much. Okay. Now it says we're at a negative $18.60. I'm going to see if I need to transfer $75 from our house savings. I'm hoping not, and just eat it out of our current budget. And, oh, you know what? We still have to pay for the Brick or Treat weekend, which I believe was on Capital One, my husband's Capital One. This is why I have to make sure I review everything before I move on, and also have a list of stuff. I think I had some stuff, or a financial to-do list on my planner, but I didn't finish writing it. I feel like this week I've just been all over the place. So yeah, usually I tend to be on top of it, but for some reason this week I'm not. So that's okay. I'm taking care of it right now. And let's see. Look at my husband's Capital One. I believe this is where we put that payment. Okay, why is it so much? Oh, okay, because of our Spectrum or internet is going to be due on, because it's going to be due on November 21st. Okay, so I'm just going to be paying for Brick or Treat, or our Holiday Inn. We stayed at the Holiday Inn for that weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and pay for it already. So $294.89. I'm just going to put it on the expense tracker first so I can see the total payment on Capital. And this one's my husband's, so I just like to put a J in there. And I'm going to put travel, since that's what we're designating the category for. And it's going to be $294.89. And brings our total down to $629. So I'm going to pay for that bill. So I'm going to put $294.89. And then from our Wells Fargo, due now. So $294.89. My husband actually got a credit line increase. His, I think, available credit before was either $1,000 or $2,000, and it went up by, it doubled. So it went up like $2,100. And that's because we're, since we're using our credit cards, putting them on putting our bills on there and paying it off. I think it's kind of helping with not only our credit score, but it's increasing our line of credit as well, which also helps out the credit scores as well. So we just owe $80, but that's going to be for the next budget because that's going to pay for our internet bill, which will be due on November 21st, which will go in the second paycheck budget for November. So going back to November here, so that brought down our variable spending amount to $490 now that we paid for our travel bill. Food, we still have $148 left, which is fine because we still have a week to go. Transportation, we'll probably have to fill up one more time before the next budget. And I think that's it. Why do I have, oh, haircuts, shoots. I still need to call and schedule an appointment for that. I'm like, why is there still money in here? Because one of the things wasn't accounted for. I didn't plan to buy bed sheets. Might have to move his haircuts to the next budget. We'll see. But I wanted to have them have their haircuts before we go to San Jose. I think that's it now. Unless anything else pops up in here. I believe that's it. I just have to transfer over $100 into savings, and the negative $18 would just probably be eaten out from our cushion, or we'll most likely hopefully have money left over in our variable spending. So we have about close to $500 left to last us until next payday. Anyway, so that is it for this very long budget update video. Hopefully it was helpful, especially since maybe if a lot of you are wondering what happens in a budget update, like what the hell is a budget update? What do you do? This is basically it. You want to make sure that you track your spending, update all of your bills, make sure everything got paid for that needs to be paid for. Make sure you transfer over money from your sinking funds if you need to cover any bills, or transfer to your savings and investing accounts and stuff. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, especially for watching till the end, and I will talk to you in my next video. Have a good one, guys. Bye.